Over the past few months, I've come across quite a few gamers and commentators who seem somewhat confused about the non-showing of a queen in Alien Isolation. Well, the issue is easy enough to explain, so that's what I'll attempt to do over the next few minutes. If you've had little interest in Ridley Scott's original Alien movie, or has simply not seen the director's cut, you may not be aware that Ridley Scott canonically intended for there to be a way for aliens to produce eggs on their own. The James Cameron approach involving the queen was not thought of until half a decade later, but it is the iconic approach that Alien has followed since then. Drone and queen, a hive of insect-like creatures laying eggs. It's easy to follow, but is not the only canonical way for eggs to be formed. In an interview, Ridley Scott explains the original egg-forming process as being called egg morphing. He describes it as follows. What gave us the cocoon concept was that insects utilize others' bodies to be the host of their eggs. That's how the alien would use Dallas and each of the crew members it kills. This explains why the alien doesn't kill everybody at once, but rather kills them off one by one. It wants to use each person as a separate host each time it has new eggs. So for those who are not aware, the xenomorph drone does not need to feed. They get the energy they need from thermosynthesis. So whenever we see someone getting murdered in isolation, it is not for the purpose of feeding, but for the purpose of either stashing away a dead body to use for egg morphing, or ridding a dangerous threat to the hive. Or perhaps both. Regardless, the point is that we know the xenomorph in isolation bears the same genetic makeup as the xenomorph in the original Alien, given that they both came from LV-426, and so we can safely assume that since that alien could create eggs on his own, so could the alien on Sevastopol. The way egg morphing works is up for discussion, as the concept has only been explored briefly in novelizations and comic books. The prevailing theory is that the aliens produce some sort of enzyme that can turn the bodies of organic beings into a sort of yolk that will eventually grow a parasite, what we know of as a facehugger. You see this process happening in the director's cut of Alien. Brett is hung up dead on a wall, being cocooned and slowly consumed by the hive. He would eventually have turned into an egg had the Nostromo not been destroyed. The egg morphing sequence was eventually cut from Alien due to pacing issues with the film. It was over 3 hours long at that point, but that doesn't mean the concept is not valid or not canonical. Indeed, later script treatments for Alien movies and several novelizations have used egg morphing as plot devices, so it's a method that is definitely up for grabs when you write an Alien story. Given that we see no evidence of a queen being present in isolation, it's safe to assume that there simply wasn't one, and that the reason so many people were disappearing from Sevastopol was because the original xenomorph needed nutrients to produce eggs in the hive. Finally, could a queen conceivably have been on the Sevastopol? Yes. But I believe the more reasonable explanation is that the production of a hive led to egg morphing processes, which would make Alien Isolation the first notable Alien franchise entry to use this explanation for egg producing since the original movie. Now how fucking cool is that? That's all for now. If you liked this video, please leave a like or comment and let me know what I can do better next time. Subscribe if you want to see more videos of this type. På gensyn!